does it really take to put on an expo together of this size?
Okay. I'll start. Actually, the very first thing it takes is confidence and believing in yourself, because you got to put up all the money up front. So, you have to find the venue, and you have to, pay for that. You have to find the perfect person for your sound, and you got to pay for that. And there's so much money that you're putting out, and you just have to, know and without a doubt, and have the confidence that if you build it, they will come. So that's the absolute first thing it takes to do, an expo like this. And you got to be organized. You really got to be organized. You have to have, a planner book and write down all the things that need to get accomplished and check them off as you go, because you're organizing trucks and where they're going to be, and the layout of the facility, and the vendors that are going to be coming, and what they need, and where you're going to put them, and then how many chairs you need and tables you need, and where's the stage going to be, and how big is that going to be. There's a lot of thought and work that goes into, putting this together.
So you really got to believe in yourself. And when you throw an event like this and you're advertising, hey, we're going to have 400 to 500 people in the building, there's no faking it. So if people show up and no one's there, guess what? No one's there.
You're not hiding that.
You're not hiding that. So we've been grinding. If you see the way I post on Facebook all the time, it's a hustle for sure. I'm out there posting all the time, trying to be creative. We started advertising it real early. And last year we sold out real fast. So I have no doubt that it's going to be a big event. It's going to be the biggest junk removal event on the West Coast, probably worldwide. So I'm looking forward to it. I have so many people reaching out to me wanting to be sponsors. And we're real picky on who we choose to be the speakers, to be the vendors. Andrew's a sponsor there. We have Autopilot in the building. Paul's a sponsor. You're going to have your own booth, Mr. Yee. So it's going down.
I think I should be the hype man of the Junk Expo, the hype man, introducing everybody to Yee. What do you guys think about these people? What do you guys think about this? Just give it up. Otherwise, we're going to beat you up. Yeah. But I have a question for the Junk Expo. So do you think it was easier planning your wedding or planning the Junk Expo?
Oh, our wedding was really small, and we wanted it to just be, really close friends and family. And so that was much easier. It was much easier. It was 50 people, and what made it super easy is the event place that we threw it. It was all inclusive. Everything was included in that. So the person that did the cake, the invitations, the DJ, all of it was included, even the food. So with this, we've had to, outsource and find the right people for certain things. And then the speakers, taking the time to make sure that you're finding good quality people that are bringing really good value. Now, last year, it was great. It was the first one we ever did. So you definitely learn. Every time you do something, you learn and you implement other things. So this one's definitely going to be bigger and better.
Can't wait.
Yes, the speakers are, really going into, they're not just telling the story about, them and how they got started, but each person will give you knowledge that you can walk away with and implement in your business for sure. And we're covering all kinds of stuff. And last year we didn't speak. We introduced people and we said hi, and we did some little giveaways, but this year we're actually speaking. So we're excited about that.
Well, I'm really excited about this. I want to make an introduction. Andrew Thompson has just popped in the room. What's up, Andrew? How you doing tonight, brother?
Good, man. Long time no talk.
Yee.
Hell yeah, man.
You'll probably hear in my voice I'm still a little sick.
What's wrong, man?
So, long story short, because it's a long story, it's my teeth. I got some. So it started with my kids, thinking the kids got me sick. Probably was the initial reason. And I've had some black teeth back here that are just fucking black. And I've been knowing for a while. And anyways, my cheekbones started hurting. And it took me 2 days to realize, like, wait, hold on. I think this is related to my teeth. So I went to the doctor, blah, blah. Basically, I got to get some teeth pulled.
Yeah, those nerves.
So, dude, it's the worst excruciating pain in the world. Like, so, yeah, it's bad. So I've been knocked out for about 2 weeks because of this. And I just started taking ibuprofen like 3 days ago. I don't know why it didn't hit me. My lady was like, yo, you should take some ibuprofen. And it like made me feel like back to normal. And then I went and got some antibiotics because there's inflammation back. So it's, anyways.
Well, I see big things going on at Autopilot, man, and I definitely want to hear about it because I see that you got a big investor, man, John Stromberg.
There's so much to talk about. I've watched your, hey, Yee, Paul, I've watched your last 3 lives. Trust me. I've got things to say, but I've got to keep it very like professional because there's a big difference between me and people out there is people in the junk removal community can come over here, say whatever they want to say, and your customers will never see this side of the world ever.
Yeah.
You can come over here and you can say whatever you want to say and your customers will never see it. Guess what? When I come on here, my customers see everything.
I was going to say, because I think maybe Matt and JoJo have that their customers see a lot too. So, you know.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting thing. Matt and JoJo is actually, you know, not to go too much in a tangent because I know Paul wants to ask some questions. But do you ever have customers like see your YouTube channel and, you know, go, oh, I saw you on YouTube?
Yeah, you know what? Every once in a while, but for what it's worth, you're right. It's very separate. You know, sometimes we'll have a customer that's like, oh, I've seen your YouTube, but usually it's just Facebook posts and the social media that we do to advertise our business. It doesn't really overlap that much.
I would say the people that call us and we do jobs for are subscribers, people that want to meet us. They'll give us a call. Hey, I watch your YouTube channel, but we wouldn't know that until we get there. So
yeah, it's not like your customers are out there feeding off your YouTube channel.
No,
they're most likely Googling you and seeing because you're like first on Google for your website. It's not like they're going to YouTube and going, but
they're not seeing this.
Yeah, it's like my customers, I now have to be careful what I say, which is it's an interesting thing because now it's like I have to be careful. I can't.
So that's what makes you different from others is your language and how you're talking on it.
Yeah, because there's things I would love to say. There's things I would love.
I could tell. I could tell.
So let's get into that because we wanted to because there was a few things that were said. I believe it was last show. I think Russ Burry said a couple of comments and that you were said that were not true. So that's why you hit me up and you wanted just to kind of clear things up and all. So first off, what was said that wasn't true so that we could clear that up?
Yeah, you know what? Starting off completely professional. Russ Burry's Russ Burry. I'm Andrew with Autopilot. I'm going to leave it at that. There's nothing to be said. I'm not going to make any character attacks at all. But what I do want to rebut a couple things is, Paul, you and you're an investor, and Matt's an investor. Yee will be an investor after this because I know he. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I was gonna talk about that with you.
So there's one thing I want to address really quick. Russ did say Andrew didn't sell his company. Now, obviously, that got it's like seriously, really? Do I have? If you go watch all my YouTube videos, you'll see the evidence, but obviously Russ doesn't want to go do that. The fact of the matter is I did sell my company. I've showed the contracts, the paperwork, the Clover statements, all that stuff. He made a statement, and I'm saying this in a completely professional way. He said, verbatim, if Andrew sold his company, there would be reviews on Jedi Junk Removal. I went to Jedi Junk Removal. There hasn't been a review in 1 year. Verbatim, what he said. I have 4 locations and I sold the entire company. He looked at one location. If you want to screen share right now, go to the most recent location. There is hundreds of brand new reviews under Jedi junk removal every day. Even today, there was a review. Yesterday, there was a review. There is countless reviews showing that Jedi junk removal is still active. Like hundreds.
Yeah, and I just want to interject there also, and because I don't think Russ follows you on a regular and all, and I've seen the videos where you actually interviewed the guy that bought your Jedi junk and all, so that's all documented and out there and all.
Yeah.
But I think where most of it was more of like it's a misunderstanding, and I think what I've boiled it down to was that some of the people, and it's not just Russ is just the one that's out saying it. Some of the people in the industry are saying that some of the YouTube videos that are going out are deceiving in a way. Let me explain. So, when you put out the video, make $1 million in the first year of junk removal, I understand it. I'm a YouTube guy. It's to get that shock and awe so people click the button and all that.
It's clickbait.
But okay, hold on. Just hear me out. So I just want to kind of like put where the argument is, and what he's saying is that from that $1 million, after his math, it comes out to equaling in your pocket, I think like $80,000. So you did $1 million worth of work to keep $80,000 in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a problem with that because he has all these people now coming to him, which I think he's a coach and and he's helping people out, and then they're like, oh, I listen to Andrew and this is what, and guy that's been in it for a long time takes that a certain way because he's like, bro, he did $1 million to only keep 80,000, and then he goes and sells it after a couple of years for 175,000, and everybody's looking at you like you're the messiah of junk removal. So that's where Russ and a couple of these other guys are having problems. Now, they also have an issue with new guys getting into it, and they hear $1 million. And Russ is saying it's not always the smartest people that get into junk removal. So now they go in and they finance a truck. They put a lot of money into it, and now they dig themselves into a hole because these guys are not built to build a business, a successful business.
And then there's people out there who think you can't make $1 million in junk removal, or you can't be a millionaire in junk removal, which I think you may have broke the ice on that. And, we give you big props for that.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack here. So much to unpack. First of all, even if you made 80 grand off, by the way, in my first 14 months, I did 1.1 million. Let's not fucking throw that under the table. I'm not trying to be a douche about it, but I did 1.1 million and I'm very proud of that.
Yes.
And it's an astonishing number. Now, Russ always says it's LA. Absolutely. 90% of the reason I did 1.1 million is because there's 11 million fucking people in Los Angeles County. And I've stressed that time and time again. Now, what separates me from the rest is that I did it on Google Ads alone, strictly Google Ads. That is not something I would ever tell, and I never tell anybody to do, and I never would. Now, your example was 1.1 million and you made 80,000. Fine. What if that was the case? That's still impressive. I'm off the truck, off the phones, not doing anything. Because if you watch my entire YouTube history, I have documented evidence of my call Filipinos running my phone system. Chad is running my entire business. I'm off doing nothing. I'm literally hanging out with my wife, eating food, and structuring my game plan for autopilot in my YouTube. So for 2.5 years, I have focused on YouTube and got where I am. So even if the truth was Andrew only made 80 grand off 1.1 million, that is still impressive if I wasn't on the truck and not on the phones. Now, the truth is I made $208,000 off the truck, off the phones, running this entire business while focusing only on my YouTube channel. In this YouTube channel, I didn't even know the play that I was going to make. I did not know that this play was going to raise me $750,000. but I knew YouTube was the end goal. So I focused on YouTube while simultaneously running a junk removal business, hitting 1.1 million off Google ads, off the truck. And I don't say that to be pompous. I don't say that to be pompous at all. I say that to bring upon the possibility that anything is possible. Like I was crying because my girl was pregnant with another kid, and I was like, what the fudge do I do? And junk removal out of one of my friends who was it's a long story, won't go there. And he was like, Andrew, do junk removal. You can make $1,000 a day. And I laughed at him. And then I looked into it and I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. And here I am, some tech nerd. And we're going to get into the Russ Burry saying, why doesn't Andrew work for Google if he's a genius programmer? He'd be making $500,000. We'll get into that question next. I'm a tech dude who can make 6 figures programming. Why the fuck would I pick up trash? There's so many reasons. It makes me cry. Like, I'm literally almost tearing right now because I was broken. I was fucking broken. And, oh, God. Trash was a quick fix to a problem that I was having. And it turned into this glorious like community that I built, and that like I was able to bring tech into it. I was able to run Google ads. Okay, yeah, we'll get into that question. Why would I sell a company? I mean, I made a video on this. Anyways, point being is there was a reason that I got into this, and sorry, I got distracted from
don't look at the comments right now. Keep going. I'll read out the comments.
So the point is I was at a point in time where I was confused on what to do because I was so drained from coding for corporate energy and my other apps and everything. And I needed to make money because my girl was pregnant, and junk removal came along and it was like $1,000 a day. And here I was knowing what I know. And my buddy was like, all you got to do is run Google ads. And 3-4 years ago, that was true. Now it's a little harder. You can't just run Google ads, but I was able to scale Google ads and get to 1.1 million in 14 months.
So let me ask you. So the main question that he wants to know, and this is what's not making sense to Russ, is the numbers. And there's another part that goes with this. And he says, why would you sell a company making $208K for $225K with equipment? You sold it for less than its actual value. Most junk companies are selling for 2 to 3x EBITDA earnings.
So good question. SaaS companies, software as a service, Autopilot, Slack, Zoom. SaaS companies sell for 5x to 100x annual recurring revenue. So if I'm generating $100,000 a month from Autopilot, $1.2 million a year, I can sell for $10 to $100 million, depending. Like AI has changed everything, right? So whatever I'm doing per year, like if I'm doing if I'm doing $100,000, if I'm doing $100,000 a month times 12 months, I'm doing 1.2 million, I can sell for roughly 6 million to 100 million. It's a stupid, weird multiplier with SaaS companies because software is the billion-dollar industry. When it comes to home services or retail stores or physical brick and mortar locations, you sell at EBITDA. EBITDA, earning before interest and taxes, depreciation, amortization. Most people don't even understand what that is. I do. I have a somewhat accounting background. I understand cash flow statements. I have an entire video on this. But what I've learned from selling Jedi Junk Removal is you sell at a multiple of EBITDA. And if you guys don't know what EBITDA is basically.
We already got. Just tell us, why did you sell, bro? Not let's not do definitions and all that.
I'm trying to educate.
So you don't need them, man. Let's just talk. We want to answer the question.
Okay, so why?
We want to get rid of the fluff, bro.
Okay, so you sell at a multiple of EBITDA. If you are a 2-year-old company, they look at you as, why the fuck are you selling? You don't have no tax returns. When you sell a company, they need tax returns. They want proof. They want fucking proof that you made all that money. They want bank statements. They want Clover transactions. They want Google. They want everything. If I'm a 2-year-old company, I had 1 year of tax returns. You sell at an EBITDA of your tax returns. So my tax returns were weak as fuck because the first year was like 300K. And then I'm on track for 1 million my next year with no tax returns filed. You sell at an EBITDA of your tax returns. So it's the dumbest fucking.
That makes complete sense.
I
understand.
I'm not done. You sell at an EBITDA. The more EBITDA you sell at is the longer you're in business for. So when you're under 3 years old, they look at you as a risky business. So you sell at 1x EBITDA. Once you hit 3 years and more, you sell at 2x EBITDA. Now, the problem with junk removal is there's no proof of recurring. The fact that there's no reoccurring, you get subtraction. There's key man risk. There's so many other factors that go into the when you sell. So I sold December 15th of 2023, and I had already made $220,000. Then I sold for $225,000. I made $450,000 that year. So when he says, why would you sell 200K when you make 1.1 million? Because I can't run my business. I can't run a junk removal business doing $1.1 million and then also start autopilot. It's impossible. You can't run. I don't know how Elon does it because he has so much, maybe he can delegate everything, but it's impossible to run multiple businesses at the same time. So I sold autopilot for $225,000. And yes, Russ was like, you got to pay this fee and this fee. Yeah, there's a broker fee. Yes, of course there's taxes. The broker fee was not like 10%. It was 22.5. I walked with 200K. Okay. And then that year after my junk removal company, I made another 200 and change. So I made 400K that year. And yeah, of course I have to pay taxes. Yeah. Russ in his last podcast claimed he made $400,000. Show me your tax returns, because no, you did not. You did not make $400,000 from your business. No, you did not. Show me your tax returns right now, and I will believe it, because I've showed my tax returns on my channel multiple times. So I say all that to say I'm sorry. I'm getting flustered because.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, but there's one more part that we got to just clean up.
Bring it, bro.
The last part of it. This is why. The question is, why did you sell? And the rumor was that you had an insurance claim against your company and that you were forced to sell. And that's what the whole reason why people believe you sold so early. Everything you just said with trying to sell the business so quick, it makes complete sense to me. Because if you go to a broker or whatever and you're like, yo, I'm making $1 million my first year, and then the second, like, they're not even up to that with the tax returns.
It's sketchy.
It's sketchy right away, because they're wondering, why would you sell a profitable business?
Buyers who are going to buy a real company, they need data, they need analytics. They aren't just going to believe some dude who's just like me. So I had to meet up. But anyways, to answer your next question, what was the next question?
About the insurance claim. So that's what is being said, is that there was an insurance claim, and if you didn't sell, you were about to get a lawsuit.
Yeah, there was an insurance claim. Absolutely. A dude broke. I posted this on my YouTube channel 2 years ago about the difference between 1099 and W-2. And I talk about this constantly. Be careful, because if you hire somebody who's actually an employee and they hurt themselves, they can throw the labor law book at you. Like 100%. That happened to me. And just so you know, I have an employee from a year and a half ago, I sold the company, who's throwing the labor law book at me right now from when I sold my company a year and a half ago. So these are all learning lessons.
Explain this now, because like we all need to know what we need to protect ourselves. And so why did this all happen? Like, was there something you could have did to prevent it?
Paul, you and I kind of got in a disgruntled conversation a few months ago about insurance. You remember that?
And I was telling you can't do this. And now to find out that you actually went through this shit, you should know better.
Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, the problem that I'm going through, 90% of the community is doing right now. Nobody has workers' comp. I'm just going to say that right now. You have somebody who comes and helps you. That can be considered a contractor, maybe. But if you put them in your gear, in your truck, your equipment, you tell them what time to show up, That is an employee. You are now.
Okay, but hold on. Make it clear. So a 1099 is somebody that's not working for you.
So a 1099, a contractor, means they determine the hours, they wear their own gear, and they can do whatever they want when they want, long as they make the deliverables by an end date. So there's no gray area with this. Like, California labor law is strict as fuck. And I'm learning this from lawyers right now. So if you have an employee show up at a certain time with your shirt on your equipment, with your tools, they're an employee. Now, if they do it one time and one time only, you can consider them a contractor. A judge might believe you. But judges favor the employees because the employees are the ones at risk. They're the ones who get hurt. They're the ones who need to make the money. They're the ones who have the family. So if an employee comes to a judge and says, "Nah, this motherfucker, I showed up at 8 a.m., blah, 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 10 times," they're a fucking part-time employee. So I have somebody throwing the labor law book at me right now. I don't want to talk too many details because it's
but just so we understand, so you didn't have him as a W-2 employee, you had him as like his own, he was a subcontractor that you worked with.
It's a subcontractor, and it's
okay, so now he's saying that he was working under you and now he's going after you. Is that what?
So here's what it is. Misclassification of employee type. No lunch breaks, no meal breaks, no paid overtime, because there's California. I mean, there's a laundry list of the labor book that he threw at me, and it's a huge lawsuit that I'm dealing with to this day. But to answer Russ Burry's question,
okay, but hold on, are you liable now that the business is sold though?
So that's up in the air because now there's this thing called piercing the corporate veil. So now my lawyers are now saying that I might be personally liable for piercing the corporate veil, meaning they can come after everything that I own because I Zelled him personally one time from my personal account. So now I'm personally liable because I have Zelled him one time from my girl's account, and it wasn't from the business account. So I pierced the corporate veil, meaning I am now open to lose everything that I own. Now, is that scary? Sure, but there's good news and bad news to this. Is that I don't own anything, so but yeah,
so they can't take anything. So
they can't take anything. I've been very smart of I don't want to say it on camera, but I've been very smart with my stuff.
Living in the gray area, bro. I love it.
So you got everything in your mom's name, I'm guessing.
Hey,
I was going to say
that NFL. Yo, I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just going to say, Matt, what you said might resonate, but so, yeah.
Okay, so all right, I think that kind of clears up things and kind of. Is there any other questions with Andrew, guys?
Yeah, so I kind of want to backtrack real quick just on one thing is that we didn't.
So are you like, so I'm like, wow, I'm trying to absorb everything in it. That's a lot of shit. So you sold this over a year ago and now you're having headaches from them. Like, when did this all come onto your plate? Like, this was just recently?
So I sold the company a year and a half ago, and I'm going to answer your question, Paul, but I want to backtrack to something that still bothers me. Is Russ asked, why would you sell for $200,000 when you're making $1.1 million? Okay. I got to answer this question. I was making 1.1 million. Yes. And I did 200K. Why would you, and Russ kept saying in the chat, why would you sell a company that you'd make at 200K in 1 year? Right? That just doesn't make any sense. If I have to live and breathe, even though I was off the truck and off the phones, I still had to deal with broken trucks, maintenance, pissed off employees, firing, hiring. It was and some people love running this type of business. My background is tech. I knew my long game is tech. I was
Andrew. Let me just ask you this: if you had to do it all over again with everything, the situation you were in, would you do it again?
Would I do what?
would you do it again the same way? Would you go open Jedi Junk, or would you just go right to autopilot? Like,
okay. So no, the answer is no, because there would be no autopilot without me building this community, right? So absolutely not. Jedi Junk, I think, built me as a character. Hired, like, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I hired an employee, it was the most awkward time in the world to sit in a truck with a stranger from Craigslist. That was the weirdest shit in the world. But it like changed me as a person. Like I've never hired somebody from Craigslist, had them sit in the truck with me and said, all right, let's get it. Was the weirdest shit ever, but it was also changing me as a person because I may look cool now, but I'm a software. I'm kidding. I'm a software guy. I've been sitting in front of a computer my entire fucking life. Getting somebody off Craigslist or ZipRecruiter, Indeed, and hiring people and having them sit next to me on the truck and teaching them how to back up a trailer and it's
all new, and it's all new to you too. So because I'm in your situation right now, bro. So you're resonating like so much. Never did any manual labor, anything before, and I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. Like you got to play the whole part. Like you know what you're doing, but you're learning every day. You're on that truck as well as you're trying to.
I knew the tech side. Sorry, go ahead, Yee.
Andrew, at any point when you first started junk removal, did you love this business or even care about this business? I know you wanted to use this business to get you to where you wanted to be at and go to, which was your passion. And we all know, you know what I mean? Autopilot. And you know,
that might be the best question I've ever had.
Thank you.
Because honestly, you know what? You ask a really good question because there was.
I've been waiting. Trust me. I've been right here quiet, just waiting to ask.
So there was a point in time, and junk removal will always, I will die in my grave. Like junk removal was the stepping stone that got me to where I'm, because I know autopilot's going to be I know even if I don't take over Jobber, I will be somewhere in the mix and I'll make all of the investors a lot of money. But junk removal was probably the biggest. If I could bring my girl in here right now, she would argue that I thought I was going to do junk removal until I died. Because it literally changed my life. And I picked up cardboard boxes. I remember the first fucking job, right? We all got lucky with our first job. Some of us got unlucky. We lost money. Some of us got lucky. We're like, what the fuck?
Mine was terrible.
Yeah. Okay. Yours is terrible, right? Mine was like, picked up some boxes from a rich dude, Amazon cardboard boxes for $200. And it took like 5 seconds. I was like, and I remember in that moment, I was like, this is a scalable business. I'm going to fucking 1 truck, 2 truck, 3 truck, 4 truck, 5. I thought I could just pop up trucks left and right. And I was like, one day I'm going to be in a photo with 20 trucks behind me. I thought I was going to be like this, like fucking this gangster with 20 trucks behind me. And I was like, junk removal. I loved junk removal, Yee. And it's not that I don't love it anymore, but I thought it was a scalable thing that I was going to be able to scale like this. And then I learned it is not. I have some theories on junk removal scaling.
I love that you just said that. So this is what I've been saying lately. It's easy to start junk removal, but it is not easy to scale junk removal. You agree with that?
I have a theory, and I have a video coming out that's probably going to get a lot of comments. I have a big video coming out. It's called Junk Removal is Not Scalable.
That you're gonna stir it up with that. You can tell that already.
So I learned the hard way why everybody franchises and why all franchises close down. Junk removal is a very easy business to start. It's impossible to scale. Russ Burry's been doing this for 7 years. He has 2 locations. Okay, name one person who has scaled this business, not franchising. Every franchise is lost. All of them are dying and giving up.
Matt and
I
JoJo,
think,
I want to ask.
I think we're looking at somebody.
No. I want to ask
No,
Matt.
no. So real quick before,
Hold on, guys, hold on. I just want to ask Matt and JoJo what, because you guys just went and got all the speakers for the expo coming up and everything. So you guys come across a bunch of new people and all. Have you guys come across somebody that has scaled junk removal successful, having multiple locations, and they're not a franchise owner?
Yeah, quite a few. We actually got a guy that's in the 707 Bay Hauling, Juan. He's out there. He's killing it. He has like 4 or 5 trucks. Barry Hartman, he's out there in Canada. He's doing $5 million a year, and but he has a bunch of systems in place. And then, yeah, it's doable. But
it's not doable quickly.
Not quickly. You gotta be a smart motherfucker, straight up. You gotta have systems in place.
We got to determine what scaling is. So if you're in one city with 5 trucks, is that truly scaling? Like, what's the definition of scaling? So getting to 5 trucks and making $4 million a year, that's great. Casey Walsh, 10 locations, $8 million a year. Scaling to me is I had 2 locations, and this is what happened. Yee and Paul. I got stuck at 1 million. And I was like, there needs to be more, right? Like for some people, $1 million is awesome, right?
Wait, hold on. What did you get stuck at? What was your plateau? Was it the amount of employees? Where did it get hard?
So here's the plateau. You launch 1 truck. Everything's fabulous. Everything's great. You get to 400, 500K. You're on the truck still. You're making 50% margins. You launch a second truck. You run ads. Your margins go down to 30, 40%. I got to my second truck. And then I realized why people started franchising, because it's almost impossible to launch another location without like a lead employee and without you being there. So unless you can somehow run this truck, there's too many logistics that go in. Not only do you need to get lead flow is expensive. Lead flow. So if you can't get enough leads for a new location, how do you launch a new location? $100,000 truck, $5,000 in yard signs, $3,000 at Facebook ads, the startup cost of a new location, and then you got to guarantee lead flow, but that's not considering operational cost of bad management, employees, a leader. So to launch a new location, you have 2 options: money, or you leave your family and go over there for 1 month. So after my second location, I made the decision, honey, do I go to this new state, this new city for 30 days and leave you and my kids? Or do I spend an astronomical amount of money and hope that the lead flow comes through to support employees and a manager to run this new location? So I learned the hard way that launching new locations is expensive or time consuming. It's almost, and this is just my experience, I'm not saying this for everybody. It's now junk removal for the solopreneur is amazing. Like Matt and JoJo is proof that you can change your life with junk removal. But if you're coming into this with the mindset of I'm going to scale and be some guru who's going to go from one location to a second to a third think again, bro. And even if you're Alex Hermosi, you're going to struggle because this is a great business. If you're a solopreneur,
no doubt.
To launch new locations and to think you're going to be this next generation of, I tried it, I failed, so I might be biased, but I gave up. I'm not going to lie.